Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa, back to talk finances. A reminder, by the way, it is tax season, and if you do owe, I really suggest you get your tax return done because there could be an imminent strike happening, and you will still probably owe by April 30th. So if you do owe, and if you're getting a refund, probably for many of you even more important. But when it comes to financing post-pandemic, there's a lot of financial things that are coming, especially when it comes to parents, because we've kind of had a little bit of a break with some things during the pandemic, but post-pandemic, a lot of those things are coming back. And are you prepared for it? My next guest is going to help us with some great advice. I'm joined by Simeon Papailias. He is a finance expert over there at REC Canada. Welcome, Simeon. Great to have you back. And before we dive into the financial discussion, let's just talk a little bit about yourself and what you provide clients.
We're providing financial and real estate advice for over 17 years. And we do have a method called the action plan, where we take individual circumstances and put them into action in order to grow wealth using both financial structure, financial vehicles, as well as real estate as a long-term play.
Let's dive into that topic I mentioned off the top, that additional financial strain that many parents are seeing now that, we're getting through the pandemic, and some parents may have some surprises, Simeon.
We see it consistently right now. The pandemic fueled this inflationary period that we're having now, with the cost of goods being higher than ever. And we're also seeing that huge backlog of family milestones, such as weddings, such as, the first trip to Europe, such as buying a car because there was a car shortage. So you have an entire generation kind of booming and bursting at the seams to act, to try and buy a home, to try and buy a car, to try to save. And the bank of mom and dad has never been drawn upon more. We have seen articles upon articles speaking about the greatest intergenerational transfer of wealth the world has ever seen. And more pressure is added to parents.
So, Simeon, how do parents then prepare for these additional expenses?
And this is precisely what myself and other financial professionals are looking to do is help Canadians understand the value of time. Small contributions over time create huge results in the future. So whether you choose an RSP because it's tax season and that kind of has some weight to it, but contributing, so having a budget first and foremost is the most important. You need that 50, 20, 30 rule. 20% has to go to savings and long term. 30% services your wants, your luxuries in life, and 50% of your income should service your needs. So as long as you can fit your life inside that formula, it's a general formula, but there's a reason it's kind of the foundation, because it works.
Simeon, I imagine I would imagine more and more clients that you've seen are probably struggling, though, just to try to keep those numbers going with what we've seen with inflation and the pandemic. How do you prepare a budget is probably the most important thing. What advice do you have for preparing your budget?
So you have to look, the greatest starting point of all time is to look at history being your teacher, your own history in this case.
Right.
So pulling up the last 6 months of your bank statements, your credit card statements, and taking a look at where your money is actually going. So if you see that you're hitting Starbucks 8 times a month and each visit is an average of $15, you have to really put that into perspective. Does that align with your lifestyle today versus your long-term future? Because 8 visits of $15, we're talking well over $120, including taxes.
Right.
That $120 per month, because 8 times a year, it may sound like a lot, but it's twice a week.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. But if you were to be conscious and pack your own coffee, as opposed to stopping at any other coffee shop, doing whatever you have to do to make sure that those small habits don't become something that hinders your future is hugely important, especially for the younger for the kids, not so much the parents.
Yeah, let's talk about the kids for a moment. How do you get kids involved with sort of tracking expenses, and how important is that for young people?
I have started, my kids are 8 and 10 years old, and they were just covering financial literacy in school. Unfortunately, the school system still does not go anywhere near the depth that they need to. Teaching kids about what a quarter and a dime looks like is one thing, but understanding the importance of savings and being prudent and prioritizing what's important to a family unit is not what they go into. So engaging your kids as early as possible in real financial literacy, meaning understanding the cost of credit cards, that convenience is not your friend, but discipline is your friend.
Yeah.
You will enjoy the fruits of your discipline far more than the short-term satisfaction of a latte.
Simeon, how important is it to sit down with a financial expert, a financial professional like yourself?
I mean, it's everything. Just like I don't go to the dentist to get arm surgery. It's everybody does their own thing. A school teacher is an educator, which is a holy profession as far as I'm concerned. But if you're spending 10 hours out of your day with 14-year-olds in class, you're not going to have the bandwidth to make excellent decisions or enough research into the stocks, into the real estate market, into whatever instrument you use to protect and mitigate against inflation and grow your wealth. There's no way you can do everything. None of us can.
Right.
So speaking to building that power team of professionals, like a great accountant, a great broker for both financial instruments and real estate, can help you identify opportunities to grow your wealth and protect your future.
Simeon, very well said. Always a pleasure having you. Thanks so much for joining us. Great advice for our viewers out there. And again, a reminder, it is tax season. Make sure you get your taxes done by April 30th. We'll be right back.